All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Emotempest, and you are here listening to the Triple Triad podcast. This is our post Florida Materia Cup wind down, if you will. I'm gathered here today with the boys. You already know them: Sergio Bravo, David Melendez, and Andy Carmona. Say hi, everyone.
What
Hi
up?
everyone.
Hola.
We had a wonderful weekend at the Haven Games with Mr. Lockwood and friends, and naturally, we got to see a lot of familiar faces from all over the country, and yeah, just all over the country, Canada and Puerto Rico included. So that was very nice. This episode is going to really just be, a storytelling one for you guys. We're going to go over like some of our deck choices, some of the things we saw, highlights and lowlights. Is that a thing from the weekend? And
For a second, they said low lives. Like, oh shit, that's me.
no.
Fucking low
I
lives.
mean, technically, I did the worst, so I'm the low life here. So
You took dancers?
no. This is Material Cup, not reruns.
Okay.
No. But yeah, it's just it's overall good weekend. Lots of things to talk about. We already covered some of the top decks on our channels. You saw Oki's list on Tacos' channel, and then I had a few others from Top 16 here on my channel. So, but we haven't talked about us yet. So I will start it off. I took Ice Lightning. Definitely thought it was one of the better choices going into that. Sergio here helped me, understand the lines. Well, I mean, they all did, right? The whole group here and all of the Miami boys helped me try to understand all the lines there. And honestly, it felt really good going into the day and the night before. And after round one, I felt really good too. I was playing Khalid from, I want to say he's like Orlando local, right? We used to see him at Sunshine Games before, but he was playing Fire Earth Monks. And it felt very like it was a very, very dominating game for me, I think. And so that set my mentality in the right direction. But the rest of the games were weird. There was Warp Golbez. Brian, he got like top 8, I think. I think he got his invite to NAS that weekend because of the pass downs or whatnot. Then I played Gene from Puerto Rico on the mirror, and he dropped the Sid Randell on me, which was wild. And then Kyle, who's playing the Soirees, who I ran into all his EX verse. So that the day really shifted for me from positive to negative quickly. And then the day with technically 3-4. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, that was my day one.
Wait, but I don't know the story. What was this technically thing?
Stefan, I had to play one of the other Miami boys, and I was I think I could have won, but I wasn't trying. I was doing the gunslinger, so I just let him have it. You know how it is? I'd rather play the gunslinger at that point. If it was anybody else that I was playing, I would have gone back and finished, or finished the fight and probably try to get a 4-3 record. But I ended the day with 3-4. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's all it was. It was a local boy, and I didn't want to. The whole thing I think about the weekend too was I wanted to play 13, and I was ready for that matchup. And he was the only one I of my opponents from the whole day, because I didn't drop, right. We made it to round 7, and so he was the only one on 13. And at that point, I didn't even want to play it. Right. I was like, I'm done. Like I just you can have it, bro. So. And then it's funny too because every time I sat down, I was looking around for the 13. I'm like, okay, where are they? I don't think I saw them. I don't think I saw that many 13 decks after all. So all the testing we had done for that, and I think I could have used that time better to come up with something that I would have rather played. It's not that I didn't like Ice Lightning. It's just that it's not my style, and I knew that throughout all the games that I played. So, that's all it was for me.
But
So
but we knew going into like to just be prepared for it because it's still like you don't know what the percentage of how many people are gonna be on it. So like you were gonna feel real bad playing something that like oh well I made this and this seems okay and it does terrible against it and then all you ran all day into it was that right that'll
yeah,
feel
of
bad.
course. Of course, but and I'm actually glad that you bring that up too, right? Because all of the conclusions that I feel like we had come up with as a team, like playing the triple heckas, cutting back on some of the other like monster choices, is some of the stuff that I saw in top 16. So we were on the right track. I just think I don't know, it's just a bad day of cards. Honestly, like it felt really. It started off good, like I said, and then it went sour. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, day two was just fun, and I did draft and what's it called, boss battle.
Yeah, we can get into that later.
Yeah, we can get into that as we
like
go.
everybody's like day one was just so different, and it's just because of acknowledge the room, right? Like first of all, you're sitting next to anywhere between world players, national qualified players, people that are just freaking killers throughout whatever online or webcam tournaments that are happening outside of their locals, right? Like everybody came out. It's the first event of big prizing and all that stuff. Like people are hungry, right?
Right. Yeah.
So like
Uh,
anything and everything was gonna be at this place.
yeah, and it wasn't just us too, right? We knew that Australia was doing theirs the same weekend, and Germany somewhere, Belgium, I think it was, or
Yeah.
Belgium. Yeah, so it was like that intensity was in the air, right? Because we were watching those, we were trying to catch the feeds like the night before, the morning of, actually, or it's just a lot of things going on. The adrenaline was definitely pumping.
We're like, get the notepad. Just take some notes. See what the hell's going on over there. This guy's playing
Yeah,
category 6, and nobody was like, nobody's gonna be on category 6. Boy, were we wrong.
Boy, were we wrong. Yeah, I did want to mention that too. Like, I thought it was cool to see that, at least in two regions, I guess, it was category 6 and very similar decks, right? Because they were both all forwards. Like, different forwards, but it was the 50 count, like, lock engine or whatever, like, that made it to the top cut. I think it won over there, right? It won in Belgium, and it got second, and it got second here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Adams, of course.
No, of course, we're definitely going to give props to all of our contestants, especially Chris Adams, who that was like a dream come true, and
for him,
so overwhelmingly happy for him. Like we know his journey, we've been following that story since day one, right? Since 2017.
Yeah, he brought it up too.
Yeah, man. So it's just like it's just a huge Florida feel good moment. I'm just so happy for him, as the rest of the community is.
Yeah.
And you can
take it from here,
huh?
I was gonna say, why don't you take it from here? Tell us about your day. Well,
I was gonna say that they do go over it quite extensively in their podcast. I did have the privilege of hearing it, and it was just a fun time. There's over 2 hours of just great commentary. Go check theirs out too if you're listening to this as well. Yeah, the RVA Returners podcast. So I am next. Well, okay, so my deck choice was Guardians. I was going to take that because I've had several months of reps on it, and the new Yuna slapped. The only issue with that deck is that if you do not see a certain hand, a certain series of cards within your hand, you will instantly scoop to category 13, and that is just enough to scare the shit out of me off the deck. But everything else, like your lines have to be so clear to sneak a win out of everything if it didn't just like gel properly, right? If you just didn't see Titus early and you just locked down the jack blocks and everything, it's one of the things where like it just feels bad when you have to grind, you miss a certain line, and then it just goes downhill from there, all because you were either supposed to put a walk out or an out or remove this forward, or it was just so weird. So my backup was Earth Lightning, the old Viridian list that eventually Sasha Stark saw a really good outcome with that one, and then I kind of took that list and then just kind of like see if I could throw some Opus 19 into it. But it was still the Blackwald stuff, with the X Death stuff, with the mass removal. So it did extremely well for Cat 13, right? Because of all like the board clears, and then the Black Waltz just picks off the lightning. It just doesn't have an issue with it. It has a really good matchup with Ice Lightning, because in my version I do play Felthanos, and if the version of Ice Lightning isn't running the bigger Odins, which I did see a couple of day one. Shout outs to Curtis Kang. I know his list had the bigger Odins, but some of the others did not. It completely locks the deck down. They have no answer to it. Like, seemingly they don't have any answers to it. They have to overextend so much to like bring out a Zeromus that doesn't get answered by the Black Waltz already. To just try and duel the forwards off of the end of turn proc or something. It's a lot. It's a lot for the deck, and it just can't do anything, because if he's dull, then the Sephiroth comes out. It has to target him. Lightning, all of Lightning's abilities have to target him. Unless I dulled something and that wasn't him, and then she can like still attack and sneak in the break or something. All that stuff. But you kind of just like, if you just sit there and just watch them squirm, and then X Death is doing his thing while picking a card every turn, it just cleans up that matchup. The Soiree matchup is interesting because we do have access to a lot of break zone removal, and as we start getting rid of their recursion, so if they see like the Merald early and they pitch it, not expecting for you to RFG their break zone real fast, the game is over too. There's just all their recursion and their value and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. So I don't remember all of my matchups, but the ones that were memorable, that were fun to me, obviously my round 2 against Chris Adams, where he showed me the power of Yeti Spaghetti, was amazing. My round 1 was against Key, who is a regular on the RVA Weekly. Very strong player. I've had the pleasure of playing him several times online. Got to play him in person. Great person. I mean, everybody's wonderful. This guy is just out of the box, just awesome. Very pleasant to be around. So round 2, yeah, Chris Adams. That guy just, I thought what I had was a good matchup, because he liked to go wide, and I was like, okay, I can maybe deal with the Dream Stooges if he starts bringing them out. Black Waltz doesn't really do much with them, so I'm not going to prioritize having that out. But what I'm going to try to do is just kind of like maintain the board with the several outs that I have. But it turns out Saban's Chakra is really good against Hecaton. Their recursion is just insanely strong. The fucking Yeti is insanely strong. So it's just like, it's really hard to kind of just like start continuously removing stuff, and it was just so hard to keep up. So like, I just like waxed me within like 7 or 8 turns. Like, I thought I was gonna take it to the mid game, to the late game. It's just like, no, his board was just so wide. And it's like, cool, maybe a Matoya board clear. He just picked everything back up with Edgar, and it was just game over from there. Freaking the nail in the coffin was a General Leo, because I did develop a Man in Black with the Odin, but then his General Leo was
no.
Like, yeah, he's about to like assemble the freaking Power Rangers, and I'm just like, all right, tight, we're gonna like kill something, and like, maybe block with the Man in Black, and then we'll make something not attack off the cast. He's like, straight, bro, here's General Leo.
Proceed to scoop. Wow.
I was like, tight, bro. Yeah, let me see the board. I'm at 2 damage. I'm about to go to 9 damage. Yeah, that's cool. You got it, bro.
I was gonna ask, did you get, because you said that you had like all the board wipes, you didn't run into that Dream Stooges trap, right, where you board wipe and you discard 3?
He didn't prioritize assembling them, because he does have a game plan depending on what deck he goes up against. So I was able to pick his brain after round 2 just to figure out what was going on. But I actually didn't see my Totos, and the 5th point of damage was a Toto, and then the other one was just hiding somewhere at the bottom. So at the crucial point in which I needed to board clear and then try to like start asserting my dominance with my forwards, it just wasn't happening. And then the whole time, like, homeboy's playing fire, he's got 5 cards in hand. I'm just like, dude, where's the Amat? It turns out, bro, he tells me Lisa's like, nope, 50 cards, cat 6, no Amat. And I'm just like, dude, that's so good. For someone who doesn't know the list, like, right away, and they see fire, and then they see how much of the deck you're going through, it's just like, okay, I can't.
You're waiting for it, yeah.
Yeah, you're waiting for it. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna play this to bait it out, and then try something else. And it's just like, if it doesn't work, we're screwed. And you play something, right? You're like, I play a Vivi, get back a Black Waltz, get back a Robo. He's like, tight, grab it. I'm just like, no, cancel it, bro.
Yeah, it's like, what are you waiting for?
yeah. He never did, never presented it. And I feel like that was that strength was like lending itself to the reason he got so far in the tournament, was because people may have that same mentality where they see that color and they go, okay, let me prepare for some sort of cancel, some sort of counter, right? You never know until like you really ask those people. But I feel like that definitely, it played a part on my loss. I was wondering if it played a part in several other people's.
It's a safe assumption, right? If you see fire, they gotta be running Amat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't not think that when I run into fire. So yeah.
Yeah, like you're at a Crystal Cup or at a Materia Cup, right? Like, why not play cautiously? So, so let me see. I don't know in the order I played these guys, but I feel like I played all my friends basically. So I got to play Curtis. I don't remember which round that was. He was on Ice Lightning, and that was such a grind fest. Only because he was playing the heavier removal, and so I can't just deploy the Felthanos right away because it just gets dumpstered by removal. But it was quite the grind fest, and we did go to time, but he acknowledged the board state, and he was just kind of have to be like, hey, look, man, you got it. And it's Curtis, bro. Like, you're not gonna find a better human being out there. So, Brandon Sharp, who's on Soiree, and I don't know what was. I think it was like my round 4, and we were just like coming off of lunch, and I just could not shake the nerves, only because my record was still positive. So it's just like, if you probably ask him like our matchup, I was so fidgety, and I just couldn't concentrate towards the very end. I'm just like, I need to either go to the bathroom and put some water in my face or something, but I need to calm down. I just dropped that game completely. But that shit was crazy because his whole break zone was removed. Like, all 3 Madame Edels were removed, everything. And it was the final cast of his 3rd Cecil into a 3rd Warrior of Light. After I was trying to like juggle between a Man in Black with a cast of Odin off of a Zidane that was trying to poke me down into a Meryl that was getting guaranteed point of damage. It was quite the obstacle to all the while my brain is just like, dude, you need to finish the game, hurry up. And I was like, no, I need to concentrate. I was getting attacked from all corners. It's nuts. Bro, but it was still it was a great match. I just misplayed several times and just dropped it. Played one of the Gamers Command guys, Robert Wu, I believe his name is. He was on a mill deck that casted Mind Flare several times. Earth Lightning just has nothing against it. I saw Miss Dragons way too late. Dude went through my whole deck, got to play some of my favorite cards. So yeah, that's where we went 4-3. But then I got to play Rice. I got to play Matthew Rice at the very end, and that was it was very fun. I don't think I've ever played him in a tournament, or at least I don't recall. But it was definitely a treat to play Rice at the very end, because we both thought we were in for a Chelenka, whoever won that one. So, and he was on Soiree as well. Took me to 6 point of damage, and I was just like sweating, but we stabilized and we got there. But there was no Chelenka at the end of that maze, so we could have called it in early and jumped on the margarita train and just had a great time. But I would say overall the deck performance, I really do like my deck choice. I just think I could do with a little bit more tweaks on numbers, but I think I would say out of 5, I'd say it's like a strong 3.7 contender for like taking it to another event.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tacos. What about you, bro?
Man.
Man.
All right, man. So at the beginning, I didn't really have time to test. I was still playing like the Opus 18 deck. It was like Ice Earth with some Lightning Splash in it. And then I play like one game against Cat 13, and that deck really put the fear of God in me, bro. I probably switched so many times up until like the last week of the event. And then I think by Wednesday I had stuck to Lightning Water. It was like that. It's just like all lightning characters. It just kind of spams the board like with a bunch of monsters and stuff. It's really fun at what it does, and it had a good matchup against 13. And I didn't play a single one during Swiss. Oh my god. Um, my first round was, I believe you said you also played him. It was against Gene, also from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Dude,
Gee.
he hit me with that Sid Rendell.
Also, right? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't find my backups. I couldn't get off the board quickly enough with Odin's. I mean, I get lucky to get rid of it once, but then he brought it back with a Shantoto, and yeah, that he got me from there. So it was Ice Lightning with that one. My game after was also another Ice Lightning. Again, couldn't find my backups. Every time I set up a monster, he kept hitting me with 3 CP Ramu. I was not expecting that. So every time he would clear a lightning and break a monster, I'm like,
Oh
dude,
no.
what is going on? I got him down to 6, but it just wasn't enough. So I was feeling really discouraged by that point. My third round, I ended up against Mono Water. It feels like it kind of wants to do the same thing that my deck is doing. It's just a little slower. So yeah, I was able to set up like a bunch of monsters and just like, go from like 2 to 7 in like a single turn. And then my following match was also Mono Water, same thing. My 5th round was against a 3-color deck. I remember Une, Garnet. There's some fire cards in it too. Basically, just the game plan was to get rid of the Une every time I hit the board. Make sure not to like let it keep getting cards. Trying to dodge the Mist Dragon the entire time because that completely craps on the deck. That was round 5. My round 6 was against Muhammad. He was on Sores. The deck has a terrible matchup against it. He got me with the Mist Dragon that really just ended everything. And then my last round was against Sharita, also on Ice Lightning. It's my 3rd one of the day. I think by then I finally had like learned the matchup, and I finally was able to like set up my backup. So I was able to do what I wanted to do, and that was it. So I ended up going 4-3. Honestly, I like what the deck did. I just wish I had more time to actually test with it. I think I only had like 3 days of practice, so. But overall, like, I was pretty happy with it.
Is it like gonna continue? You gonna continue to work with that, or are we switching?
Nah, dude, we're switching.
Okay.
I'll play it for casual games, but yeah, dude, not
Deck roulette.
It's
Deck roulette.
it's very like it does terrible against the Earth matchups and probably the Ice matchups if you don't set up your backups, because then they just like freeze your stuff down. So if like they freeze a lightning, that's it. It's a wrap, unless like you kill your lightning and then play another one. Which is kind of how you sometimes OTK anyways, but it's still rough against that matchup.
And you said, you'd had if you had more time to test, you could tweak it out. What are some of the things that like underperformed that you saw from the original list, or like could have done better?
From that particular list, or just
Yeah. From that one, the Army of One, I think is what it was called.
I mean, man, I probably would have swapped out the 3 CP Odins. Just because, again, like, I didn't see any Cat 13, and that was the whole point why I was playing the deck. But I probably would have swapped them for the 2 CP one. The one that, like, either breaks a 2 or breaks a 4 or lower if you take a point of damage. I feel like that would have made, like, the Soiree and the Ice Lightning matchup a little more tolerable. You got me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think I would change anything else. It was good. Like, I made like a last minute change to like Yagrosh, and I mean, for every single Ice Lightning matchup, it definitely put in work. Because if not, I was gonna lose those games way, way earlier before. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's all I would do to it.
Okay. Cool. Sergio.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Come on, tell us the tales of.
What do you want to make me
Bravo.
Why do you want to make me relive that again, bro?
Because that's what we're here for, bro. To read,
Uh,
so everyone else can live it. So everyone else
people can
feel.
suffer with me. The people can
Yeah.
suffer with me. All right. So I will tell you the tale of Bubble Boy. So I was playing Ice Lightning, and I went 5-2. Which if you were at the event, that was the record you needed to make day 2, and that wasn't enough for me though, because I bubbled out as per usual. So I got 19th place with 5-2, and then actually the same event last year at Orlando at Lockwood Store, I got 17th place, 5-2 also. So like I'm cursed at Orlando, and I should never go back there, but I will probably keep going because it's our closest place for big tournaments. So, I played Ice Lightning, and we had talked a lot as I held a gun to your head to try and get you to play Ice Lightning as well, about the decks and the reasoning behind it. And I love that deck. I've been playing it for a while, and it has like a really just clean matchup into Cat 13. And I really expected to see more Category 13 decks at the tournament, like at least performing better. And like I actually played it twice. Like my first 2 rounds were Category 13, so like I definitely don't regret the decision because it definitely influenced my tournament results, right? So I won those first 2 rounds against Cat 13, and I was like, oh, this is great. Everything is going according to plan. And I never saw another Category 13 deck after.
They were all at the bottom at that point, right? Round 3.
I think so. But also, like, I lost round 3 and 4, so I lost like fairly early, which I think messed up my breakers because one of my losses was like to a Magissa deck, and the other loss was to actually Chris Lopez, who ended up like 3rd place or something like that with his Ice Lightning, which is like his version is like really good in the mirror because he's just got tons of like removal with the Lady Lilith. So it's such a good like counter to itself. And I never saw the Ixions to like clear the Lady Lilith off the board, so it just sat there eating value, and I got ran over in that game. Same thing with the loss of the Magissa deck. I got run over in that. But the rest of the tournament after that, I think I played like 3 Ice Lightning mirrors after that. Let me see, it's 4. No, I played 2 Ice Lightning mirrors after that, and then the last round was against a like kind of like a 5-color Fusoya good stuff deck.
Right.
So, but yeah, so finished 5-2. Got a Chalinka promo, so that's good.
Hey, never before seen.
Yeah. Would very much like one day to play on a Sunday at at Lockwood Store. But we had fun, and then Sunday we did the gunslinging, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the boss battle.
We ended up doing boss battle against Shell, and I believe our team was the only team that was able to take it down.
I think so. I mean, we only know of like.
I didn't stay the whole night, so I don't know.
Yeah, we saw like 4 or 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Sam Tools was the last one I heard, but they went like with triple warrior or like 2 warrior light decks, hoping to like super fairies cleave the board, but it didn't work for them. So
Yeah. That deck has just too much answers to everything. Like you pretty much can't set up anything against the boss deck, like combo wise. Like it just doesn't happen.
tell everyone who's listening what's the best strategy that you've uncovered for what if you ever go up against the boss battle deck.
All right, so what we walked into was we just kind of like sat down to play like standard. We had no idea like we were gonna even do a boss battle, and someone said like 3 versus 1 as a joke, and then Shell was like, yeah, we can actually make that happen.
That was you, bro.
Yeah. I think I made the joke. Right, somebody had walked by and was just like, oh, are you guys all gonna play it? And I was being sarcastic. I was like, yeah, we're gonna 3 versus 1. And then Shell was like, yeah, we could actually make that happen.
Yeah,
She came back with the boss deck, and I regretted it immediately because I had never played boss deck before, and it was scary. It was very scary. Did you know that the boss deck draws 4 cards a turn?
And after that, yes, I did. Now I do now. Anyway.
That felt like such a cheese. I'm just like, your cards are already super broken. What the hell do you need to draw 4 of them for? At the end of each turn.
Did you know the boss deck starts with 2 backups in play that are both chaos?
And a Sephiroth.
Did you know that the boss deck starts with Sephiroth in play, which has a Mist Dragon attached to it at the end of each turn?
And Brave and
10k.
And 10k.
And those
Did you know that when the boss deck deals damage, everyone takes freaking damage?
That's actually cool.
Did you know gaming?
Like as like the boss deck is setting up and I'm reading through the rules, like my head is just sinking lower and lower, and Tacos is looking at me and just laughing at my misery because I'm just sitting there thinking I really want these sleeves that are potentially in this box. So if you don't know, Shell was kind enough to bring the. Is this a secret? It's not a secret, right?
No,
That's not a secret. No, this is also advertised that she'll be doing this at every Material Cup.
At every 2020 Crystal Cup sleeves, and so I gave the history lesson to the 3rd member of our team, which was Gio, and these sleeves were from the year of FF7 that they had like promoted when 2020 tournament season got canceled. Like they announced it, and then right away COVID hit, and so the whole season got canceled. But the sleeves that we ended up getting were the Fenrir sleeves, and then we also got the Meteor sleeves, which I think that's the one that the Tacos and Gio got for winning the boss battle. So that was really cool. So it's cool to see these kind of like these sleeves that never made it out, like making the rounds now. Like these Black Mage local qualifier sleeves were also given out for top 32, and the Chalinka.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, those are really, really nice cards. But yeah, the boss battle was insane, and we got super lucky. Our strategy was we just played the 3 standard decks that we had on us anyways. So Tacos played Soiree, Gio played Ice Lightning, and I was like, well, I'll just play Wind, right? Because this is just the best if you're not getting aggroed out. And turns out the Zidane was actually great because then you just steal the boss deck cards and play them.
And there's no rules against that. So.
And there's no rules against that. So
parry this, you filthy casual.
Yeah. So I said, look at me. I'm the boss deck now.
All right, I'm the boss deck.
It's like an episode of Supermarket Sweep. Just go in and take whatever you want.
Yeah, that's Zidane.
Zidane's got his rollerblades on, going down aisle 3, picking up all the Nabisco stuff and everything.
Zidane was like MVP, bro. Every single hit like was a hit.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Got all the greatest hits.
So go in with Zidane's 3 decks that have 3 Zidanes.
Yeah.
Zidane's the best. Zidane says, "Put all the cards in the bag, please."
Yeah. He's robbing the bank at that point.
No funny business. Nobody gets hurt.
I brought the wrong Zidane, unfortunately, but yeah, that was sick.
Oh, that's right. You had the Firewind one in that list, right?
Yeah, because I was using Sam's list since we were helping Brandon prep. So
Yeah,
was
Brandon. Shout out to Brandon.
Yo, shout outs to my boy.
who went into this tournament, mind you, like absolutely just like, hey, I'm just here to have some fun. I'm gonna bring the deck that I love playing, and we're just here with the boys having a good time.
And outperformed all of us substantially.
Yeah,
There's got to be a lesson in that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I haven't learned it, but for sure, there's something there.
I mean, we tested hard, like a lot.
Then we tested
I was
too much.
burnt out. I was burnt out. Like Sunday in the afternoon, somebody was like, "You want to play a quick game?" And I was like, "Hey, man, fuck off! Like, I don't want to play anything with anybody."
I was already dreading the Airbnb. It's just like, man, I really don't want to be around any of these people anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, so Andy and I just walked up to each other and just started pushing each other from how much we had grown to hate each other during testing.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but there's a magical place in Orlando that like absolves all of the salt and everything, and it's called Culver's. And my God, you feeling salty? Go grab a delicious homemade custard of theirs. It's to die for.
This episode is sponsored by Culver's.
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 When you hear your family.
Don't be a salty bitch. Have some ice cream.
I don't know their motto. Do they have?
They have a sea salt caramel flavor ice cream, which is really good when you bubble. If you're wondering,
dude, I just got the vanilla with the hot fudge, man. Oh.
Yeah, but it's the proximity to Logwood is very good for the Culver's. It's just always hits the spot right there. Winning or losing, it's good.
Don't get their salads or anything. Don't misplay like how I did. I bing bonged right into a salad, and that's probably what led to my demise of day one. I'm just like, I can't, because I'm so nervous. But I'm like, I need to eat something, right? And I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna be able to like force a burger down my gullet. So
your record actually went down after the salad. I just realized that.
The what?
Your record actually went down after the salad. You were cruising. You were cruising to
the salad. That was the misplay. I should have had what I thought was I was gonna enjoy an ice cream and some fries, but I saw the menu and it said the salad had like strawberries and I love strawberries. But I didn't know it was gonna have blue cheese, and that was it. The blue cheese derailed me.
You were too worried about Gio.
Yeah, man, because isn't he like deathly allergic?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't French kiss him anytime soon.
So he says.
Which in the back of my mind, I'm just like, hey, this guy's playing Soiree. I wonder when I get to kiss Gio. Yeah, it's just...
This episode took a turn.
Yeah, this is the one.
Well, that's what we're here for. These are the lowlights.
The lowlights. I can't kiss my friends. Hey, did you get your round? Good job, bro. You don't kiss your homies when they win their round? You guys gotta start normalizing this.
I'm still I'm on baseball rules. Just
I was definitely hugging your arm, bro. Fucking Brandon. Oh man.
I've never been so close to tacos. I felt so loved.
I'll tell you, when Brandon won his top 8 rounds, I clapped so hard that I almost broke my finger on my ring. Like,
yeah, dude. You were fidgeting with that finger for so long. Even
you saw how red it got, right? Like I thought I had fractured it for sure, but it went back to normal the next day. But for the rest of the day, it hurt. The whole drive home, it hurt to remind me that I didn't make Top Cut.
You should have let me kiss it.
All right. Hey man, it's been fun recording, guys. See ya.
A little smooch.
I'm gonna go play Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, but yeah, I do want to definitely want to give a big shout out to our boy Brandon, our local hero right now, Brandon Burstard, playing Mono Water Ultros or Ultros Reloaded as he likes to call it into a top 8 finish. It's funny because a few of the other locals or people that I know, they're always like, "What's with you, Miami guys? You always bring someone with a weird deck, and they always do good." And I'm just like,
better than you guys.
Yeah.
The old knuckle puck. Nobody expects it. You can't block this.
If you know where that's from, you cool peeps.
Yeah, you get that one. There's a kiss waiting for you.
But yeah, it's definitely unexpected. I don't think anybody could have anticipated that. So it's fun and wild.
Even if you sit in front of it, you have no idea what the fuck he's gonna do, and then you don't know how he's gonna play because nobody's ever played against him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's just like just
I mean,
the
I felt
enigma
so
from
bad
hell.
I felt so bad for him the night like before, because we were prepping him, and I unfortunately I felt like I broke his spirit. Um, this is a common thing. Every time we go to one of these events, like I always break their spirit, and they go on to like at least make top 8. But yeah, poor guy. Like he didn't even wake up for his morning walk, dude. He was just out of it.
Yeah, but why is his spirit broken? Tell the people.
Yeah,
you
let's
do
go back to
him.
that.
So I mean, like, yeah, we put the deck together that he had to like practice against Sam, and it was bad. I think we played like close to like 10 games, and I think he got like maybe 1 or 2. And he's like, "Yeah, guys, like I think that's it." Like in between like every game, I'm like, "Do you still want to keep going?" He's like, "Yeah, let's keep going." So I got to give it to him for that. Like he didn't just like immediately give up. And then even after we went to bed, I think we all like picked up his deck, and we were still trying to figure out ways how to play
In the
it.
morning too.
Yeah, in the morning we woke up, and the first thing we did is John and I like we like I took
Yeah.
the Ultra deck, I played it, and he played that, and we're like we got to figure out a way. Like, I mean, it wasn't unwinnable, but it was definitely not in his favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly wish I had like caught the match. I was like, I was sitting down for the draft pod or whatever. We were done, but by the time I was done drafting or like ready to play, I hear like all the clapping over there, and I'm like, damn it, I missed all of it. And that the fact that there was no VOD for like his top 8 match too is just like, oh no, I didn't see any of this.
That's the
such a good
crushing.
deck.
Like everybody wanted to see that because they want to analyze, right? They want to see like what the hell's going on. But that's one of the things. Like if anybody's listening and they're worried that like, oh yeah, some people are gonna like try to pick it up. It doesn't work like that. Like he's had several reps of it. He plays it his specific way, and so it just worked like that. You know, old Hot Hands McGee over here just had a good day of cards. You know, and people didn't know what the hell was going on. He took advantage of that.
We've been playing that deck for a long time too. Like
Yeah, as soon as they banned Mastery, as soon as they banned her, it was like, no, let's just put the Ultras in here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it's just like another like version of that, like Mono Water with like all the summons and stuff. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it's kind of the progression that Mono Water took as soon as I can't remember which Japanese player figured it out, but once we saw that, that was the way.
Be the way, really do be the way.
But while we're on the subject of the Ultras too, I want to talk about like how diverse I guess the top cut was. Like, I don't think there was, with the exception of Soiree, right? There's probably like 2 Soirees, right? 2 or 3. I kind of want to pull it up now because
I'm
I
gonna
think.
oh, I have it open for you right here, sir. It's
Oh,
not fun.
fantastic!
Talk
Fantastic.
to us.
Yeah.
Give him the goods.
2 soirees in the top 16.
2 Soirees in top 16, right?
It was
Like
Kelly and somebody else, right?
Sam Prime and Kelly Thatcher.
Okay, that's it. Sam, that's right.
Yeah, and then there was
Types to see. I'm thinking about top 8.
and also with Oki and Viridian, right, playing their Earth Ice deck. Like everything else was different. Like, you know, Shane from Canada is still playing like his Terra deck, and then we have, you know, the Ice Lightning for Cody, and then like you said, Chris Lopez is just a crystal version of it with what's her name?
Lady Lilith.
Lady Lilith, thank you. And then, you know, Justin was playing the Mono Water Crystals, and then we had just like the Ultras Water. Like they're similar, but they're completely different, right? Like it's just the archetypes are there, and then there's the Golbez deck, right? Like it's crazy. Like
don't forget ninjas.
Don't forget ninjas too, of course.
my God,
Amethyst.
Shout out to Amethyst.
Yeah, for real. And
showing up day 2 in her ninja garb.
That's the way to do it.
It makes you really think. She packed that with her, not knowing she would day 2. Or maybe she knew she was gonna day 2.
She knew, bro.
She knew. Like she had that with her. That's dedication. That means like you're playing the theme.
And that's the best way to go. Like I think if Brandon had come out with his squid costume.
Oh, we talked him out of it, dude. We talked him out of it. It still smelled of like aqua spray paint. the fucking limbs were coming off. Like
It was hard to stick in the car.
Yeah.
While he was
Yeah,
wearing
It was also really hot that day.
it was really hot, and he was just like, "No, guys, like if I take the underwear off, it's fine." I was like, "Brandon, no, underwear stays on, dude."
But the point I'm trying to make is that I guess this meta might be more diverse than I gave it credit for. Because even if we look at the other materia cups that happened the weekend, right? Like it's kind of similar, right? The Belladue one had 90.
Yeah, we weren't off about what was gonna be played, minus the Yeti Spaghetti.
Yeah, I definitely didn't account for the Yeti Spaghetti, which incidentally it won also the Belladue. Well, it got first place in Benelux. Benelux. I don't know how you say that. And then like they have. Yeah, that's why it was Benelux, right?
Yeah.
It was,
but
they had Benelux. They did have some 16 in their top cut. They had Warriors of Light, Magissa, and one Wind Ice deck. Somebody was very brave, but they got there.
Very brave.
I think that's the only thing. And so, like, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but is this balance that there's so much diversity and there's a deck that kind of neuters Wind without having to ban Wind cards? Is that balance? For this one's for tacos.
Yeah, surprisingly, I think for the same reason that like I couldn't decide a deck. I mean, I guess the Wind players decided not to come out because of the same thing. I mean, I think a few of them still did see play, but I guess it was just something that wasn't on my radar.
Sergio, is this balance?
I don't. I mean, yeah, I think so. I think what had happened here, and I guess I'll go through my thought process on it, right? Because like I love playing the Wind decks right now. Like I really enjoy Cast Count. I've been playing it for a long time. But I just knew I couldn't play it, and my logic behind it was that if I ran into a Category 13 deck, I would automatically lose the game, right? Which is a problem. And like if I tried to build the deck in a way that it counters Category 13, it probably just neuters the deck so much that I can't win any other matchup, right? Like, and I still stand a chance to lose the Category 13 matchup. And so the reason I didn't play it was because I couldn't afford to take a loss during a Swiss tournament against a deck that would probably not do very well throughout the course of the tournament. Right? And so this is kind of like what ended up happening to me anyways, because I lost like the Magissa deck in one of them, and that deck's very like luck based. And so that opponent did worse than I did, so it killed my tiebreakers. One of the reasons I didn't make it into day 2, right? So I think for me that was my like thought process is like don't play a deck that's just gonna randomly lose in Swiss when you have the chance to like make it through like further, if that makes sense.
No, 100%.
So that's why I had to leave it behind.
Yeah, and I think ultimately there was only I only counted like one Wind deck in the room, honestly, and that was a good friend.
There was a round that I was playing. I think it was like round 1 or something, and the guy sitting next to me was playing a Wind deck, and the guy in front of him that he was playing against is on an ice deck, and like I like just was watching like as my game was going. And I see him like just getting soloed by a Laswell, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't play that deck, like, because that would be terrible, like, so yeah, and I when I chose my deck, and we had talked about it, I was like, oh yeah, like no one's gonna be on Ice Lightning, and then after my first 2 rounds, I was like, oh cool, I played Cat 13 twice, and then I went back to talk to you guys, and you were like, yeah, like half the room is Ice Lightning, you idiot. I was like, huh, I guess we weren't the only ones that thought of it.
Yeah, and I think that's where like that was the only thing I can think of where we probably called wrong, like on our side.
Yeah, I did not expect that, honestly. Like I expected a little bit less Ice Lightning. I think the soiree amount was about right.
Yeah,
from what we saw. Everything else is about the same. I expected like less Ice Lightning and more Category 13. And then
everything in between.
yeah. I expected more Wind, to be honest with you. I thought more people would brave it, just because Wind like dunks on like if you like look at the top 16, like I would say like maybe 75% of these decks like should get rolled by a Wind deck. So it's an interesting kind of, like you said, is it balanced? I don't know. That's a hard question to say yes or no, but it's an interesting kind of meta. And you know what it reminds me a lot of was when Neo Exeth first came out, right? So there wasn't really big tournaments then because that was Opus 12, so COVID had already hit.
Sure.
But like locally, right? Like we already knew that we all had to change the way we built our decks because Neo Exeth existed, right? Like if you didn't have an answer for it on turn one, right? Because you'd go first, and they'd play second, play Neo Exeth. If you didn't have an answer to present like during your next turn, you were going to be in trouble because you were going to start bleeding cards. And if they started like taking your first backup, they were already like in a really good position. So we all had to like adjust the way we build our decks. And so now category 13 exists, and it has the potential to kill you in 2 turns like pretty consistently. So rather than becoming like the meta, it rather changes the way everybody builds their decks to be able to answer its existence, just in case somebody brings it. And I think that's a really interesting type of balance for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. And I'm not going to forget either. But Andy, do you agree? Do you think this is balance? Is this what we needed?
I like it because there's a lot of, like, at least what we experience, what I experienced, there's a lot of variety, you know. So I kind of like where category 13 has put into position about what you can and can't play, or at least how you should try and build your decks. So I'm for it. It's not affecting me negatively. So it definitely influenced me to play a different deck, but it wasn't one that I wasn't already keen on playing. You know, I do enjoy the Black Waltz package. I've always enjoyed their art, but I also like what they do. I think they're very oppressive when, you know, they can target key cards that your opponent wants to use and all that stuff. So yeah, man, I'm all for it. Sign me up.
Yeah, I like the. I think one of my favorite things about this game has always been the creativity and like that you're allowed to play. Right, it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh, right, where you're playing Inzektor's Starlight or whatever the new one is, right? Like, and you have to play one of those 3 decks if you want to be on S tier. So I like that this is different pace, right? Where one, like it's like Sergio said, one deck is so good that it kind of just shuts that whole deck out. So you have to either try to brave it and miss, pray you don't see it all day, or you done goofed.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you just don't want to be opposite of a person just giving them the free win. That's like the ultimate feels bad moment. So you mitigate that. You mitigate that completely and that's the one thing you actually do have a choice in the matter, aside from all the randomization, is what deck do you choose to take to a tournament, right? Does it get steamrolled by Cat 13? You're already making that decision right there. That's why I didn't take the Guardians, even though I've been really wanting to play them. I feel like the new unit like helps them kind of like stop that aggro if you can get there, right? If they put you to 5. But it wasn't the case in this weekend, so I had to go a different route.
Yeah, and you didn't play any 13s either, right?
No, man, you guys took them all.
Yeah,
like if I just saw one, it would be great. If I saw more Ice Lightning, it would have been fantastic. If I just saw that all day, I would have been 7-0 into day 2.
Oof.
It's just the deck matchup. It's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, there's always Kansas. So.
There's always Kansas. Yeah.
Kansas.
And that's the interesting part too, right? To see like how now people adjust into Kansas, where they're like, well, now I'm not scared of Cat 13 anymore.
And then it just steamrolls people.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Baba Yaga didn't go anywhere.
I'm gonna open this up for a little like something else. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to call out from the weekend, but I'll start with Sergio. Is there anything that maybe sparked a discussion for you, or a pain point or a happy point? I don't know. What's a takeaway from the weekend?
I got the Fenris loose. That was a takeaway.
That was the takeaway.
That's the takeaway. I'm so excited with that.
We need more Fenrir sleeves.
No. That's it. I got mine. The rest of you guys can do whatever you want. I'm good. I would say the tournament was very well run, but the only I guess pain point would be our rules thing for judges and for tournament etiquette was something that I think needs to be addressed in the future for our competitive environment, rather for the health of the competitive environment. There's a few things that are just kind of the game is very casual, and if there's a rules question, they kind of just be oh well, it's fine, don't worry about it. Oh, you made a boo boo, it's okay. Those things kind of just go. And so there was a couple scenarios like that where we were there on Sunday and we saw the head judge run by a couple times and be we need to address this weird situation that has come up. I'm not calling anybody out or saying anything about anyone at all. It's just something that needs to exist, because in a competitive environment you have to be able to answer these kinds of questions with yes, the rules say XYZ, so this is how you handle said situation, and probably we need to improve that part of it a little bit. That's very generic and very vague for a reason, but yeah, there you go.
No, and I respect that, and I agree with you too. It's always been I think we talked about this before, or we talked about this with someone else, right? The rules come from word of mouth, right? It's a hand-me-down, all the stuff that we kind of reflect on, or that all come from the Twitter stuff, right? And I know that's kind of lean more into card specific rules as opposed to scenarios or whatever that would require a more what's the word here, a proper response, right? To a situation, not something that we all agree on, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I can see where we can get that. And hopefully we do. Hopefully this, the whole thing was that this year was supposed to be the year that to gauge the interest, right? And make sure it's still there. And I think this first one was definitely indicative of how much we want this. Hopefully the rest of the Material Cups continue in this direction with such ferocity and I'm pretty the four of them are sold out, or 5 of them are sold out already anyway, right? So I'm sure it's going to continue, but maybe that's enough to help push that those rules in the right direction, so we get that.
Yeah. To finish that off. Wait, to finish that off. Here's my warning to you: if you are going to another Crystal Cup, you should really pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Because I was walking around in between rounds, and there was some funny business. So you should notice what your opponent's doing on their turn. Don't stop and eat a sandwich and check your phone or whatever. Pay attention, because there was a lot of silly misplays happening, whether intentional or unintentional is a mystery for the viewers to decide on their own. But that's definitely something to watch out for in tournament play, and that's one of the things that we don't really have a clear-cut answer on how we're dealing with, I think. So that's my advice to y'all.
Thank you. Tacos, what about you? Any last thoughts or takeaways from the weekend?
I mean, other than the whole thing with the deck, I mean, honestly, I think that the weekend went really well. I got to catch up with a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while. Happy that at least one of our guys got into top 8. Yeah, dude. I mean, spending time with you guys was honestly the best part of the trip. Jesus, bro. It felt it was nonstop laughing the entire time.
It do be like that.
It do be like that, dude. I can't wait to make another trip again.
Dude, how good was the food on that on Saturday night? The Korean barbecue. Oh
yes.
my god!
Oh, that was the best. Oh, we need
first time for me. First time for me.
The...
So I was pleasantly surprised. I had no idea how good that was.
Do we want to shout it out, or are we gonna keep it a secret? What's the?
Well, I don't know what the place is called, so
I think it was literally just called Korean barbecue.
It's called Not the Gravel Parking Korean Barbecue.
Yeah, it was another. It's not the one that everyone's like very familiar with. It was the one off to the side. It had really good reviews, and so we went to it, and it was
complained
really
like a 5-year-old the whole way.
The
As
whole
we were
way.
getting closer, knowing full well that we're heading in the direction of the bad Korean barbecue place, and I'm just like, guys, why are we going there? This is terrible. Fuck this. I tried to escape several times, but the child safety lock kept me in the back.
Well, it felt like my toddler was in the car.
Yeah. It's kicking the seats, throwing Pokemon cards around, picking my nose.
We had to put Andy in the booster seat.
I don't know. The only one that can fit in there is Gio.
Oh, we got him! Shout out to Gio for fitting in the booster seat.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Gio, the boop booster seat.
Team Bubble Boys.
Not here to defend himself, but
You can't.
well know that he did better than most of us.
He did good. I'm proud of that kid, man.
He's got a Chilenka as well that he's falling asleep next to.
He really has that fire lit under him now. Like he really wants it now.
Yeah, here in my respect,
He hungry.
like
He hungry.
here in my respect, like training, and then even more the day of for doing so good. So
achievement unlocked, earned respect.
yeah. How does that at the end of Scott Pilgrim? Scott has earned the power of self-respect.
Yeah.
He
pulls a Chilenka out of his.
Yeah, pulls the Chilenka
out of his heart.
I don't know if you're in the power of self-respect. He did bark for money.
So he lost it first. No, but that money he used to buy Korean barbecue. So like, hey, I see that as an absolute win.
What about you, Andy? What are your final takeaways from the weekend?
I don't think I've ever been paid to bark. So whatever was happening this weekend, I wasn't part of it. And
but if you're going to Kansas and you have money, we'll pretty much do whatever you want. Just so you know.
Oh yeah. Hey, that weekend was great. Got to spend a fun time with the boys, and then the tournament and spending time with those boys, tournament boys. All the friendly faces you want to see. I think I hugged like 80 different sweaty bodies, and it was amazing. Each one more tender than the next. It was fantastic. I'm glad. Like, I'm surprised I didn't get sick. I'm just like, I thought full well, I'm just like, I'm going to catch something.
Yeah.
Touching everybody, but screw it. No, it was fine. Everybody was clean, which is fantastic. If you are listening to this and are unfamiliar with Final Fantasy gamers, I would say 85% of them, they shower. They're clean.
Yeah. And this weekend was very good too.
It didn't smell. It didn't smell in the room.
It didn't smell. A little warm, but that's fine. You walk around the room, you circulate a little bit. It's all good. Lockwood again, proving that his store is excellent to be hosting a big tournament. The judge staff, Chris, Jason, they're just amazing peeps. So no complaints, man. I mean, they're on top of their stuff. Huge shout out to Rochelle for bringing all those cool prizings and allowing people to get a shot at getting them. Even if you lost at the boss battle thing, which several people did, myself included, there was a pity prize, which was awesome. It was still good sleeves though.
Yeah, those were not bad sleeves by any
No, they're
stretch.
not. They're not bad.
I've never even seen those.
Yeah, they're really I have the World of Final Fantasy ones. Very, very nice. So hopefully people go into other Crystal Cups and they're getting really hyped. Sorry, Materia Cups. Sorry that I'm calling them Crystal Cups. They're Materia Cups. But we know what they are, right?
Yeah.
No, they don't. I was super confused.
Yeah, you start peeling off the Crystal Pepsi sticker. It's like, oh, this is just regular Pepsi.
I just started. As you were talking, I was messaging all the stores that I bought tickets to Materia Cups for. I was like, "You fucking scammers! I'm supposed to be going to Crystal Cups." Andy says.
So yeah, it's just you can't go wrong. It's the stuff at the end of day one where the nerves are gone already. You're ready to just have a good time. You're winding down. You're putting good food into your system. Like, you splurge. You don't come out here and you don't like pinch your pennies. you go out there and you splurge and you have a great time, drinks and no drinks, but definitely get like some good food, and you're always in for a good time. So yeah, I was always looking forward to that trip. Glad we did it, and here's to the next one.
Yeah, and I think I'll just wrap up this this podcast today with yeah, man, just go trust your gut for these things, man. I think that's what it came down to. For me, I think that's my takeaway. You know, we stuck to our guns, trusted my gut, and maybe I could have taken a little more time. I think I fell for the trap where in Final Fantasy where you over prepared for one thing and like I know it didn't work out the same for everyone, but that's how it felt for me. So I'm gonna just you know, not do that again. You know, it's the game is too diverse always for even if like there is one deck that you expect, but not everyone's always gonna play it. There's always gonna be so many different things, and obviously you can't. There's never gonna be one deck that takes everything down. So you just gotta go with your best options, and yeah, I always gotta trust myself, trust my gut. So
Yeah, I'm gonna trust your gut. You tell me, and I'm gonna trust it.
I was waiting for you to say something about the heart of the cards there.
Oh, and always trust the heart of the cards. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for us today. Look forward to us. Hopefully, all of us at Kansas. And if you're not going there, then I hope you're coming down to our store championship at Unfun Stuff Games and things. June 11th.
Did you forget the name of the store?
I don't think that's the full name of the store. I think you just made that up, bro.
And what's the name of the store?
Go ahead, Andy.
Go ahead. You're the one wearing the shirt, bro.
Yeah, I was rocking that beautiful pink Bromley unicorn shirt that you can get yours exclusively at Unfun Stuff. That is the name of the store. It's not abbreviated for anything. That is the name of it. And we would love to see you. Was it June?
June 11th.
June 11th.
I'll have the link
at
in the
Unfun
description.
Stuff. It's a huge store. It is part ownership by your favorite South Florida TCG player, Alejandro Ziegenhurt, your papi, and he would love to see you. When was the last time you saw your papi?
Yeah. Come see your papi.
Come see your papi.
Tickets, the link to the tickets will be in the description below. I think we have like a pre-sale. It's $5 off if you buy it ahead of time, and it's an extra $5 at the door if you show up. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for listening. We are the Triple Triad. I know there's 4 of us, but that's the name, so deal with it.
Yeah.